Hello students, welcome to the theory class of seed production of vegetable, tuber and spices crops. Today we'll be discussing about seed legislation. To find out its real dictionary meaning, so we have here, it is a process of making or enacting laws, okay, in seeds, okay. And it also means a law or a set of law that is being created. Either way you can understand the legislation, or you can say the seed legislation is a law enacted by government of India in order to regulate the market, production and sale of seeds in the seed industry, okay, and the seed institution. So wherever the seed production is going on and wherever the seed selling and buying is going on, so we have to, whenever it involves the production, whenever there is a production, whenever there is a selling, or whenever there is quality maintenance of the seeds, so we have to follow certain rules and regulations which is enacted under the act, okay, or the law. So there are five important laws, okay, which has been evolved from time to time. The first one to see here is the Seed Act 1966, which is the first and foremost seed act, or you can say seed laws. And 1966 it was enacted. It involves all kinds of definitions of all the uh, seed production process, seed production units, and the body which is involved in the production and quality maintenance, and at the same time selling and marketing, okay. So at the same time, uh, right after that we have seed rules in 1966, okay. There are some few modifications, and in seed there are other modifications, or you can say the amendments which has been made in 1966, which are the Seed Amendment Rules 1973, Seed Amendment Rules 1974, and Seed Amendment Rules in 1981, which has been made as in terms of the evolution point of view, the seed, in terms of the evolution of the seed market and seed production, and the value of quality seeds in the market. So the seed laws and the seed act keeps evolving from time to time, and you can see the various seed acts, okay. So in the recent classes we have discussed about some of the seed laws, okay, that we have to follow during production, the seed production before entering into the seed production before entering into the seed production marketing, okay. So before entering the market, so we have to certain follow principles which is laid down under these laws, okay, in order to fulfill the quality standards, or you can say in order to fulfill the production standards. So among these, I think we have already discussed some of the important parts of the Seed Act 1966, which is a mandatory for the seed certifications. Okay, in case of seed certification chapter that we have discussed recently, we have already said that seed certification is voluntary and labeling is compulsory, which is one of the important part of Seed Act 1966. And okay, under section we have also discussed about a few parts of section 5, section 8 and section 9 of this act, okay. What does section 5 says? Section 5 says seeds of all those varieties which are notified, okay, under this act shall be eligible for the certifications, okay. So under section 5 there are list of notified kind of varieties, okay, and which are liable for certifications, okay. And what does section 8 says? Certification shall be conducted by seed certification agencies, uh, notified seed certification agency, okay. So under section 8 we can conduct certification by with the concerned certification agencies, okay, under this 1966. And section 9, which is a follow-up to the section 8, which is after certification, the granting of the certification by state seed certifying agencies or central seed certifying agencies, okay. So these are the few sections, okay, and which are a large part which are mandatory for the seed certification process. Today we are going to discuss furthermore into the Seed Act 1966. Okay, although there are other seed acts which we will discuss on the next class. Today we'll discuss in the Seed Act 1966 because it is a large part, and we'll try to complete today. Okay. And what does this act says? It is an act to provide for regulating the quality of seeds for sale and for matters connected therewith. Okay, so these are the laws, rules and regulations for regulating the sale and maintenance of quality, and to provide value to the seed produce for matters connected with seed production. Okay, so quality maintenance, it assures quality maintenance and also for sale of seeds. Okay, and rules and regulations regarding the certifications, and at the same time the patenting and so and so. Okay, so all the rules and regulations are included in this seed act. And so under this act may be called as, it is written as, it may be called as Seed Act 1966. It is extended to whole of India, so it is applicable to anywhere in any corners of India, and it shall come into force on such date as the central government may, by notification in the official gazette, appoint, and different dates may be appointed for different provisions of this act and for different states or for in different areas thereof. Okay, so it is applicable everywhere in India, and in some cases if it is enforceable, if it is not so, if it is enforceable by central government with the official gazette under the certification committee. Okay, so it is applicable to every states of India. And under this act, there are some definitions to clear out the terms and terminologies of the seed industry. So there are definitions mentioned in this act. First of all, we have agriculture. So some um, propagators, seed propagators think that horticulture, propagules are not included under agriculture, and agriculture is not related to horticulture. So it is clearly mentioned here that agriculture includes horticulture. Okay, so agriculture is a part of agriculture. And next thing is, what is central seed laboratory? It means the central seed laboratory established under the or declared as such under the subject 1 of section 4. Okay, and what is seed certifying agency? It means the certifying agencies which has been established. Okay, and what is committee? It means the Central Seed Committee constituted under subsection 1 of section 3. And what is a container? It means a box, bottle, casket, tin, barrel, case, receptacle, sack, bag, wrapper, or other things in which any articles or things is placed or packed. And what is export? What is import? Although we have already known, it is defined under this heads. Okay, and what is kind? Okay, which is also important. Kind means one or more related species or subspecies of a plant, each individually or collectively known by one common name, such as cabbage, maize, paddy, and wheat. Okay, so it's a group of species or related species which you can call it as a crop plant. Okay, a type of crop plant. What is notified kind or notified variety? It in relation to any seed means any kind or variety thereof notified under section 5. We have already discussed in previous class also and today also, right before starting of this section. So we have already studied section 5. What is prescribed? It means the prescribed rules made under this act. And what is seed? Seed means any of the following classes of seed used for sowing or planting, or any of the following classes of seed supposed to mean any of the breeder seed, certified seed, registration seed, and foundation seeds. Okay, so seeds of okay, and so the following classes also means the seeds of food crops, including edible oil seeds, seeds of fruits and vegetables, cotton seeds, seeds of cattle for fodder, etc. and etc. That means any propagule which is used in agriculture and allied sectors is termed as seeds, okay, which has the potential of growing into a fully grown plant. And it also includes not only seeds, it also includes seedlings, tubers, bulbs, rhizomes, roots, cuttings, all types of grafts. So in case of, so what is seeds? So the definition in terms of agriculture, when it comes to agriculture or agronomy, it is quite clear that seed is a propagule. But in case of horticulture, crop plants, sometimes cuttings are used, since most of the horticulture or almost like most of the horticulture crop plants are um, asexually propagated crop plants, ornamental crop plants, or you can say, you may take it as any example of it, like sugar canes and so and so. So in this case, you have to take up either seedlings, either cuttings, either grafting, tubers, bulbs, rhizome instead of the seeds, because it is hard to get the seed in a single generations and it takes a long time. So in that case, we have to use this. So it sometimes creates confusion whether these cuttings or rhizomes, fruits are can be called as seeds, or it can be called under it can come under different sections of the seed. Okay, so under this Seed Act 1966, seed is this propagules is also known as seeds. Okay, so to be remembered, it's very important here. And seed analyst, what is seed analyst? It means analyst which is appointed under section 12. Okay, seed inspector, it is a seed inspector, though we have already discussed about what is seed inspector, what is the role of seed inspector. So we in section uh, in section 13, it says that the rules and regulations of appointing a, a seed inspector, and section 12 says the appointment or how to appoint, or the rules and regulations of a seed analyst. Okay, and what is state government in relation to union territory? It means an administrator. And what is state seed laboratory in relation to a state? Any state means a state seed laboratory established or declared as such under subsection 2 of the section 4 of that state. Okay, so these are, and another important one, what is variety? It means a subdivision of a kind identifiable by growth, yield, plant, fruit, seed, or other characteristics. Okay, so under what is kind, we have already discussed. The definition of it is given in this act, seed act. So kind means either it may be cabbage or cauliflower or something like that, within within a family like brassica. So under this cabbage, if you have different prototype, okay, so you can call it as variety. Okay, different kind you will call as a variety. Okay, so and after that we have, after this we have what is seed central seed committee. So a central seed committee has to be formed as soon as maybe after the commencement of this act. The constitution of this committee is necessary, and and uh, within the supervision of central government and state government on matters, and it should look after the matters arising out of administration of this act and to carry out the functions assigned to it by or under this act. Okay, so the central seat committee is formed under this act by with the advice of central government and state government, and uh, and it has to carry out several functions assigned to it under this act. Okay, and the next thing is the committee shall consist of the following members: a chairman, which is nominated by the central government. Okay, 8 persons nominated by central government to represent its interest that government thinks fit, of whom not less than 2 persons shall be represented of growers of seeds. Okay, seed growers will be included. Two seed growers will be included in the members. Okay, so 8 persons nominated by central government, and 2 persons nominated by seed grower, which makes 10. Okay, 1 person nominated by central government, by the government of each of the state, which is 11 now. The members of the committee shall, unless their seat becomes vacant either by resignation, death, or otherwise, be entitled to hold office for 2 years and shall be eligible for renomination. So, under circumstances like death or untimely resignation, so the title, the entitled, or the office will be for 2 years. It will hold the office for 2 years and shall be eligible for renomination of another member. Okay, the committee may, subject to the previous approval of the central government, make bylaws fixing the quorum and regulate its own procedure and the conduct of all business to be transacted by it. So it regulates the uh, so with the approval of central government, it makes bylaws to fix the quorum, regulating the business, the seed business, and transactions in the seed industry. Okay, so the next we have here, the committee may appoint one or more subcommittees consisting wholly of members of committee or wholly of other persons, or partly of members of committee and partly of other persons, as it thinks fit for purpose of discharging such functions as may be delegates to such subcommittee or committees or subcommittees by the committee. Okay, and the next is the function of committee or any subcommittee thereof may be exercised notwithstanding therein. Okay, so there are several duties or rules and regulations of how to form a central seat committee, and the duties, rules and regulations of to be maintained and to perform during the during the process of seed production in the market. Okay, and the seed central seed laboratory and state seed laboratories. So the central seed laboratories are mandatory and it is present. uh, the central government may, by notification in official gazette, establish a central seed laboratory or declare any seed laboratory as central seed laboratory to carry out the functions entrusted to the central seed laboratory by or under this act. So central seed laboratories are spread throughout the states or different states, or wherever if there is an established state seed laboratory, so it can be renowned as, so it can be called as it can be upgraded to central seed laboratory, or we can establish a new central seed laboratory, and which can be used to regulate the seed quality. Again, although we have already discussed about the role of state seed laboratory to seed testing, the role is to seed testing and seed quality maintenance. Okay, wherever we receive a seed sample or seed lot, we used to testify using the states sample as some part of the sample is uh, goes to state seed laboratory, okay, to testify for the quality standards and to match up with the Indian minimum seed certification standards. Okay, so power to notify kinds of seeds are given here. Power to specify minimum limits of germination and purity. Okay, one, and regulation of sale of seeds or notified kinds of varieties, certifying agencies, grant of certificate by certification agencies, revocation of certificate. Okay, under, we have already discussed under section 8, certification is done, and under section 9, certificate is granted. Okay, appeal and appeal under section 10. Okay, and seed analyst. The state government may by notification in the official gazette appoint such persons as it thinks fit having the prescribed qualifications to be seed analyst and define the areas within which they shall exercise jurisdictions. Okay, and what is seed inspector? The appointment of seed inspector and the role of seed inspector is given here. The power of seed inspector is also given here. The next is procedure to be followed by seed inspector: when to visit the farm and when to do seed inspection. Report of seed analyst: restriction on export and import of seeds of notified kind or variety. Recognition of seed certification agencies of foreign countries, and what are the penalty to be faced if the seed if the seed grower or seed seller uh, avoids the avoids to maintain the seed quality standards, or you can say the the seed laws. Okay, forfeiting of property, offenses by companies. Okay, so these are all penalties. Okay, protection of action taken in good faith, power to give directions, exemptions. Okay, so see, and power to make rules, which is solidarity for which can be applied to central government, because the act can be changed or amended by central government only. Okay, so this is the end of the Seed Act 1966. It is important, but for the exam point of view, you don't need to read all this, but some important things you have to read superficial and not all this, because some of the important parts here to be mentioned are penalty is important, and seed analyst and the role of seed inspector is important, and several definitions of all these all these several definitions which are given here are important. Okay, so, and central seed committee, how many members are there, how many uh, chairman is there, the role of central seed committee, the role of central seed committee to advise to the central government and the state government to regulate the seed market or to control the seed production and marketing system. Okay, so with this, thank you, and if you have any queries you can ask.